today's gonna be a little different. So the video that you'll see today is some stuff that happened a few days ago, and it's called flying trusses. So they're putting the roof structures from the ground, and they're using a crane to put them on the roof and build the roof. And I try, so as if you've been following my previous videos of the construction of this house, I always film on site, and I always explain kind of where the house is at. And I tried to do that for this video a few days ago while it was happening, but it was so loud that it was unusable. And so you know, there's the crane. Every time it would grab a truss and lift it up on the roof, it would, you know, it just make this super loud noise, and you couldn't. And anyway, the video is just kind of ruined with the noise. But I was able to get a bunch of different clips of different trusses that they took from the ground up onto the roof, and you know, a couple guys shimmying up trusses and getting super high and being really dangerous. And you know, flying trusses is a fun day. So just some information for you, so you know kind of the context of what is happening there. There are some framers who choose not to use a crane to fly their trusses, whether they have their own like extended forklift that they can use to fly or to set their trusses or whatever. Some do that. Not everyone uses a crane, and the reason being is that it's expensive. So I think it's actually a pretty good deal, the rate that our framers get, because they do so many houses. But the rate that they have is $140 an hour, plus a $100 trip charge. So obviously, the longer they're there, the slower the framers move in organizing everything, the more money they have to fork over, and it gets expensive really quick, and it eats into their profits. So what they do is when the truss company brings the load of trusses, they drop them off on the ground, so they're just sitting in this big stack. And the framers, they'll usually take a few hours before they have the crane show up, and they'll you know, open up the trusses and they'll organize them. So they get like a master sheet. It's this paper that has a list of every truss and where it goes and what order it goes in. And so what they do is they try to get it all set out and ready to go on the ground, so that the second the crane shows up, they can just start rolling. You know, they can just start flying trusses, because every minute that because you know, if it takes any longer than it should, then it's just eating up their money. And in fact, on this house, our framer made a mistake. He accidentally misplaced 3 trusses that went like right in the center of the house. They were really big, huge trusses, and they were supposed to go right in the center of the house. And it was really important that they go in the right place, because they had a coffered ceiling built into them. So what that means is a coffered ceiling is a ceiling that is like raised up in the middle. So instead of the bottom of the truss just being flat, right? Instead of the ceiling just being flat like this, it actually goes like this. So it goes over, and then it turns and goes up and over, and turns and goes down and over. So that's what. So that shape was built into the trusses, and he had 3 of them that were misplaced, and so so it just messed up the whole ceiling, and he caught it kind of late, and so he had to fix it. So he had to pull some trusses out that he'd already, you know, nailed in, and I estimate that he probably lost, I don't know, probably 30 minutes with this mistake. So from the crane, that's $70. And then he had, I think, 8 guys working on site, and I think he pays his guys probably anywhere from $15 to $25 an hour. So let's average that out at 20. So in 30 minutes, he probably lost $130, you know, just in labor between the crane and his guys. And so you know, and that's just one little mistake, and they knew exactly what happened, and they were able to fix it relatively quickly. Whereas, like, if I was framing the house and I made that mistake, it would have taken me half the day to get it right, you know. And so their experience and their skill goes a long way in you know, putting more money in their pockets and profiting higher. So as I mentioned before, this is going to be just a bunch of clips about how a roofer flies the trusses and builds the roof. thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't learn a single thing, I hope that you at least thought it was cool to see how you got the roof over your head. I'm Jake with Alturas Homes. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.